Hey there, Sanathorn. Let's take a look at this new set of essays you've given us. Spending money on weddings. Do the benefits outweigh the disadvantages? Let's see what you said. The issue of increasing expense on weddings. The issue of increasing expenses on weddings has grown in importance over the last few years. It is often said that spending money on weddings is worthwhile because it is a crucial event in everyone's life. One word. However, some argue that couples should save their money to use in the future instead. From my point of view, I believe there are several advantages of spending money on a wedding ceremony. Okay? Fine. Clear. Just let's fix your grammar a little bit, okay? Generally speaking, there are two main reasons. Let's try that again. Generally speaking, there are two main reasons why people prefer spending money on their weddings. Firstly, they are concerned that weddings are one of the very most important events in their lives, and specifically, some couples believe that it is a once-in-a-lifetime event. So you can see I have to do a lot of work with the grammar here. They want to impress guests in the ceremony, including themselves. So they spend, get rid of that, they spend a lot of money on clothing, food, and souvenirs. Some couples think about the beautiful scenery, places for the wedding. We don't call them scenery places, we just call them beautiful scenery. Or we call them beautiful decorations, which cost more than ordinary ones. Get rid of this, get rid of that. Secondly, a wedding is a ceremony for two people that will be formally bonded to each other. Couples' parents realize that it is the symbol of two families joining together. In addition to the relatives of both sides, the parents' friends usually come to the wedding to celebrate the starting of two. What's the point of this paragraph? I don't understand. What does this have to do with spending a lot of money? What does this have to do with the benefits of it or the disadvantages of it? You're simply telling me why a wedding is important, and you're not telling me one side or the other. So this paragraph is absolutely irrelevant. Yeah, no, I mean, you haven't developed absolutely anything at all. So I don't understand the point of this at all. All right, let's move on. Although some people think that a wedding is a wasteful expense, I believe that it is the way to express how happy they are together. Who is they? The couple is together. It is also the ceremony that makes families and friends unite. The money that couples spend on weddings is usually partially supported by participants. In conclusion, from the explanation that I mentioned before, I believe that there are much more advantages of spending large amounts of money on weddings. Okay. There are numerous problems with the development of this essay. Let's talk about it. First of all, look at the task. The task tells you exactly how it expects you to answer this. Do the benefits outweigh the disadvantages? What does that mean? It means you have to talk about both. You have to talk about the benefits of this, and you have to talk about the disadvantages of this trend. Okay? Why is that a problem? It's a problem because most people, what they end up doing is they talk about the reasons people spend money, and that's wrong. The reason for doing something is not the same thing as the benefit of doing something. So how can I put this in a simple way? The reason I exercise is because I want to be healthy. The benefit of exercise is that it makes me healthy. Okay, it's a very fine line, but there is a line there, and you have to make that clear. So what I'm trying to point out to you is that there is a difference between what we want and what is actually objectively beneficial. Sometimes these two things are the same, but you have to differentiate between what is a want and what is a genuine benefit. Okay? So that's one problem. Then here, this paragraph didn't talk about either one of these. It didn't talk about benefits and it didn't talk about disadvantages. However, they clearly expect you to talk about both of them. How do you know that? Because it asks you, do the benefits outweigh the disadvantages? So the implication here is that you're going to discuss both, and you're going to clearly take a side on which one you think is stronger. But I didn't see anything about disadvantages at all. Then all of a sudden your conclusion, you started throwing in all these other pieces of information about it being a wasted expense, and then you had all of your personal opinion here, and it was just organized in a fashion that was completely different from what you've learned so far in the course, different from what you've learned so far through essay corrections. So I don't really understand this. You also added all this information, like the money is supported by participants. So I didn't understand this at all. Since you are in favor of expensive weddings, you should have spent your first paragraph talking about what the disadvantages of expensive weddings are. To help you, here are some ideas. A lot of people have been saying things like it puts a couple in debt because there's this social pressure involved in spending a lot of money. People go into debt, they take out loans, they borrow, they do whatever, and this creates something like a cloud over the couple in the beginning of their marriage, okay? They feel pressured by social expectations, and so they do this, and that's that could be devastating to them financially and also in terms of their relationship, because they're starting out their marriage with a certain pressure to pay back loans, okay, for something that should have been a happy occasion. Then another disadvantage is that this is money that essentially the couple could have used, assuming that they did have it. It's the money that they could have used elsewhere to be happier, to set up their life. I mean, it could be to buy a house, it could be to take vacations together to really solidify their marriage, or I mean anything. So it's money that goes to a one-day affair, whereas it could have gone to something that would really help create the foundations for their life together. So for a lot of people think it's a waste. That's how you could have developed the first paragraph. The second paragraph, there were some things here. I felt you really were talking again about the reasons. And look at that. There are two main reasons. But I didn't want the reasons. I wanted what actually happens. What are the benefits when this actually occurs? When we spend a lot of money on weddings, what benefits do we get? Okay? So rather than they want to impress their guests, it should have been guests are impressed. Okay? Guests think, wow, you know, this person really respects me and this person really loves me in order to have gone to such great lengths and to such expense to make me feel honored for attending his wedding. It's a totally different viewpoint here. Okay? It's the result of this action rather than the motive behind it. And there should have been additionally one other benefit involved here. Okay? I hope that makes sense. I know it's a little strange. It's a fine line, but I hope you understand it. Okay? Like I said already, this was problematic to me in many, many ways. I think I've covered that already. Remember that your conclusion should only restate things that have already been discussed above in your body paragraphs. So let's take a look at this about school preferences. The pie charts illustrate the information about school subject preferences in New South Wales in 2 separate years. Get rid of that D, 2014 and 17. Overall, it can be clearly seen that physics, maths, chemistry, and geography made up the largest proportion in both years. Really? Let's see. Physics, orange, orange, yes. Maths, green, green, yes. Biology, no. Biology is blue, right? You didn't talk about biology. That's strange. Okay. And geography. Geography. Okay. Physics, maths, geography, and chemistry. Where's chemistry here? I wouldn't have picked chemistry here because chemistry isn't, you see, look how inaccurate this is. Chemistry didn't even appear in 2017. So you absolutely should not have written it. Look at it. Look where it is here. It's 1%. So it's inaccurate data. You really meant biology here. Okay? So careful with your data. In 2014, just above a quarter, not quarters, a quarter of students preferred, past tense, studying geography and maths. There were students who studied physics, biology, and PE at 19, 13, and 8, respectively. Shortened your data there. History, IT, and chemistry were the least popular subjects in 2014. Looking at the pie chart, it's not a graph, it's a pie chart. In 2017, there was a significant increase in the percentage of students who studied history, from 1.2 in 2014 to 19.4 in 2017, and it became the third rank of the subjects in 2017. I don't really like that expression. And it became the third most popular subject. The proportion of students who study biology also rose from 13.4 to 24.1 and became the favorite subject. This is redundant. However, there was a slight change in percentage of students who studied IT from 1.2 to 1.4. In addition, no students studied chemistry in 2017. Okay, it's fine. You covered all the main points. It's fine. I would have liked 2 separate paragraphs here. Some of the answers that I have seen about this that are really successful do the following. Basically, they talk about the numbers. They look at this, okay, and then they say, all right, of these figures, which ones increased? And then they spend a paragraph talking about the ones that increased. And then they have a new paragraph, and they talk about the ones that either decreased or stayed the same. So see how you can balance these paragraphs best and organize your paragraphs like that. It's a nice, solid way of doing it. Let's see. So other than that, it's fine. Let me see what your overview was. Yeah, you made a mistake in your overview. That's a pretty big deal. Will it cost you your 6? No, it won't cost you your 6 because you do have an overview. But still, it's important that your overview be accurate, okay? All right, so go ahead and correct these, return them back to us corrected, and let's see what you're going to do for your next set of essays. We're looking forward to them, so good luck.